we perceive children as being very vulnerable and moldable and shaped by early years experience. And so that means that us as parents feel an incredible pressure to have a very hands-on style of parenting. We constantly feel like we have to read to our children, do crafts with our children, entertain them, teach them, take them to lessons, take them to sports club. The list is never ending. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Soraya, I'm a mother of two, and I've recently started a series on this YouTube channel where I tell you how I've been teaching my very young toddler how to read. And if that's something you're interested in, then I will link those videos below. But today I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about mom guilt and how I never want any of my videos, including this new series on teaching a toddler to read, to make any parent out there, especially moms, feel even more guilty, and I never want to feed into that guilt. I feel like there's an incredible pressure on us as parents nowadays, and especially mothers, to, entertain our children, spend loads of quality time with our children, teach our children, prepare them for school, prepare them for life. And so there's not a day that goes by without me going to bed feeling incredibly guilty about at least one thing that has happened during the day. Maybe one of my kids threw a tantrum and I wish that I had been more patient and handled it better than I did. Maybe one of my kids had a fall and I wish that I had been paying more attention. Sometimes I feel like I've spent too much day on my phone during that day instead of spending quality time with my children. Sometimes I feel like my kids didn't eat healthy enough today. There's always a reason. I recently read a fascinating article in the New York Times, which I will link down below. And in this article, the author talks about the relentlessness of modern day parenting and describes it as intensive parenting, where we feel like we constantly have to teach and monitor our children. And so the author explains that there's been a shift in the 90s in the way that we perceive children, and that now we perceive children as being very vulnerable and moldable and shaped by early years experience. And so that means that us as parents feel an incredible pressure to have a very hands-on style of parenting. We constantly feel like we have to read to our children, do crafts with our children, entertain them, teach them, take them to lessons, take them to sports club. The list is never ending. And so this new type of parenting not only is very labor intensive for parents, but also it's emotionally draining because it's so much, and also it's very expensive. It's so expensive to take them to all these baby sensory classes and sports club and to buy all these equipment for arts and crafts and all these books and activities that we feel like we have to do with our children. And so the author actually explains that by what they call economic anxiety, which is the feeling that our economy is so fragile. It's very hard to find a job, it's very hard to have a good economical situation, and we feel like not only is it harder now to progress on the social ladder and to have a better income, but also there's a high risk that our children might actually go down because of how fragile our economy is. And so we as parents feel like we have to overcompensate by giving our children all the tools that they might need to succeed in life, and feeling like we have to over-prepare them for everything. So I definitely feel that incredible pressure to overstimulate and over-prepare my children and teach them as much as I can, because I have that fear that my children may fall behind. The other thing is this feeling that children are incredibly vulnerable and that their mental well-being is so incredibly fragile. And I constantly feel that anything that I'm doing or saying or not doing or not saying might traumatize them forever, or create loads of anxiety, or make them have anger issues later on, or have a low self-esteem later on. It just feels like anything that I might do might create some sort of issues later on. And so I think that this guilt is definitely very much fed by all the parenting books that are out there, and everyone that I have opened at least all start by telling you about all the horrible things that will happen to your child if you do things differently than what they're saying in the book. And all of them are backed up with so many studies about how, doing sleep training and leaving your child to cry will, destroy the relationship of trust and your child will have trust issues forever. Or shouting at your child will give them a low self-esteem, and then they won't be able to perform as well professionally because they will always have that fear holding them back. And so there's no way that I can be perfect 100% of the time and meet all these incredibly high standards that are, in this book and in these articles and that all the experts talk about. I can't. I am human. I'm weak. I try to follow, positive discipline methods, but sometimes I lose it and I shout. And also it doesn't work 100% of the time. I try to follow, respectful parenting methods, but I can't say that I'm always successful. And so every time I feel incredibly guilty that I might have created this trauma in my child. It's so hard and probably impossible to get it right 100% of the time. And I love YouTube and I watch many, family channels on YouTube. And I just want to say it's very easy to seem like you're getting it right all the time on a video because you edit that video, so you choose what you show and what you don't show to the rest of the world. And so I understand that these channels are there that are advocating for many of these really, really good parenting methods. I'm not criticizing those methods. I actually think they're great and I try to implement them every day as much as I can. But so these channels, sometimes they just show you, how they do it and how it works wonderfully for their family, and they will show you great examples, but they don't show you all the fails, and everyone has fails. And so I never want to add to that mountain of guilt that we all already have on our shoulders. See, I've started this YouTube channel for 3 reasons. The first one, I love making videos. Number 2, this is a fantastic creative outlet for me. And number 3, I love sharing, and I love to share my knowledge and experience. And I'm sorry if you can hear noises in the background. There's my toddler around. Are you okay, Emma? Okay. So I love sharing my experience and knowledge, and I do feel like Oh, I love you too, Emma. Do you want to go and do your Play-Doh? Okay, go and sit. Go do your Play-Doh. Do you need help? And I love sharing my knowledge and a few tips that I have, and I feel like this may be helpful for other moms out there. Just like when I need tips and help on a specific topic, I love to search on YouTube and see what other moms have to say about it. But the last thing I want is anyone to feel bad while watching my videos. And I am aware that in a way my video series on teaching a toddler how to read may do that for some other moms who are not able to do the same for whatever reason. I mean, there are many benefits to teaching your toddler to read at a young age, and I've spoken about these in my first video in this series. But also, if you don't, it's not the end of the world. And actually, these are not even the main reason why I teach Emma how to read. The main reason is that I love doing it. I do. I enjoy the process. Actually, it's even been almost therapeutic. I can't pronounce that word. Therapeutic? It's even been that for me at times. Are you laughing at me? There's been times in my life where I have felt so... Do you need help, Emma? I love teaching her how to read. I love coming up with a plan on how I'm going to teach her. I love, brainstorming about different ways to explain things to her in a way that she can understand. I love playing phonemic awareness games with her. I love all these things. I love sharing my knowledge. I love explaining. This is part of my personality. And that's also why I'm doing YouTube videos. I love explaining. And so when I do this with her, it makes me feel good and it makes me feel incredibly fulfilled. But it's not everybody's thing. Not everybody feels that way. And, teaching your toddler to read is hard. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy to prepare everything. It takes a lot of patience because, Sometimes the learning curve is exponential, and sometimes all of a sudden you reach a plateau for a while, and this can be really frustrating for both you and your toddler. And then suddenly it starts again, and that feels amazing. You know, maybe you'll take away from this series some things to implement in your daily life. Like maybe you're not quite ready to teach your toddler to read, but maybe you'll start doing some phonemic awareness games with them, because playing games is something that you would actually enjoy doing with your child. And so definitely I would not encourage you to, start this journey of teaching your toddler to read if you don't feel like this is something for you. So if you feel like teaching your toddler to read is something that you're interested in doing and something that might work for you and for your toddler, then great. I do hope you check my video series on this subject, because in this video series I am trying to give parents who are interested in doing it the confidence to get started, and I'm sharing all my tips, and I'm explaining how I did it, and troubleshooting tips. And so you could go and check that out right now. But if this is not your thing, that is so okay. There are so many other things that you could be doing with your child that they will benefit from just as much. And we're not all at a time and place in our life when we can do that. If you're a working mom who's working in an office full-time, then yes, it's a lot harder. I work from home. I work part-time only, so I have that time. I have that energy. If you have lots of kids, it's a lot harder, because when are you going to find the time to do it when you have so many other kids to tend to? So we're not all in a position where it's easy and doable. And I may not know you, but I would never doubt for 1 second that you are doing everything you can every single day to give your best to your child. And I really hope you remember that you are the best possible parent for this child, and this child goes to bed every single day being so grateful for you, and being so grateful to have had such a wonderful day with you, and feeling like you're their favorite person in the world, and they wouldn't change you for the world, no matter how you feel on your side. That's it for today. I'm sorry that this video is a little bit different than what I normally do, but I hope that I was able to share my thoughts effectively. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you do choose to stick around and subscribe to my channel. If you do, please turn on the notification bell so that you never miss one of my videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.